Alright guys, so much to go over today for the iPhone 15. It's been about a month since my last update, and so many leaks, so many rumors have come out, and I've worked with my friend Shay over at Concept Central to actually design things out and give you the most realistic look yet. So if you're excited for this video, seriously helps me out if you drop a like, hit subscribe for more. Let's just jump into the design, because we've gotten a completely different look at the iPhone 15 series than we had just a few weeks ago. Over on Twitter, Shrimp Apple Pro, who's actually been the leaking source for credible information on the iPhone 15, shared some details about how the bezels are not only going to get even thinner this year, they're actually going to be curved on the edges. So while initially it sounded like the iPhone 15 would be like an iPhone 4 crossover with an iPhone 12, it's actually going to be more of an iPhone 10 and iPhone 12 crossover with the squared off body and the rounded body, and we came up with this design that we think is incredibly realistic. It sounds like Apple's going to be taking inspiration from the curved display on the more recent Apple Watches and applying it to the iPhone with a really good looking titanium band going around it and then curved glass on both the back and the front of the device. So you can still see a bit of that iPhone 4 in here. And what makes this design unique is that it is only the bezels that are going to be curved in. The screen itself is actually going to stay completely flat. And maybe I'm biased because these are renders, but I think it looks really good. Like, this is a design, this is an iPhone I would buy on the spot. And a big change that makes it a little bit newer is going to be the new buttons going around it on the Ultra. As you can see on the side here, the buttons look a little bit different, and that's because they're not going to be physical buttons anymore. They're essentially going to be smaller touchpads that give you haptic feedback when you use the phone, kind of similar to the home button on an iPhone 7 or an iPhone 8, which doesn't really sound like a big change, but it'll actually potentially increase the waterproof rating on here, because not a physical part that water can slip inside, and the reliability. I mean, buttons don't really break, but if the button doesn't move at all because it's solid state, it can't ever need to be replaced. But here's the thing about this design. I think it looks really good. I'm just worried about the durability of something like this. With that curved edge of glass, I feel like it's going to be so prone to break. It just reminds me of when I was durability testing the Apple Watch Ultra with a completely flat screen, and then the Series 8 watch, which had this rounded teardrop design. And in one hit, the Series 8 broke just because the glass, when it's in that shape, isn't that durable. And on top of that, the same leak says that Apple's going to be using the same ceramic shield technology that they have on the iPhone 14, which makes your phone somewhat resistant. Yeah, but at the end of the day, ceramic shield can only go so far, and that's why I use Casetify, who sponsored today's video. So they just dropped the new clear case, which is something that I've historically avoided because they get yellow and they get gross and they look great on day one, and then they just look frankly like dog shit. But after using this every single day for over 2 weeks now, taking it across the world to Japan, Korea, and back home, as well as, well, doing the next stuff they made me do, I'm very impressed. Because rather than just telling you that the case isn't going to yellow, let's actually test it. Let's throw the Casetify case as well as Apple's clear case in coffee and red wine for more than 12 hours and see what happens when we take them out. So I set up a time lapse and let these sit for quite some time. I gave them over 12 hours in the dunk tank, and finally I returned to take them out, and this is what I found. Compared to Apple's case, obviously it's not even a contest. The Casetify case was miles ahead. And while Apple's clear cases just look gross like they always do, this has long-lasting clarity that I have never seen in a clear case. And this is thanks to the UV Defender technology that Casetify has that makes the case optimized to prevent yellowing and give you that long-lasting clarity. It's actually really impressive, and it allows you when you're out to actually enjoy the color of your phone because the clear case stays clear. And it protects your phone with up to 6.6 feet of drop protection, which exceeds the military grade standard and makes this perfect for daily use if it slips out of your hand. For fun, you can even put something like your name on your case when you go to Casetify's website. It looks really dope in person. It's a super premium vinyl that I just love. Oh, and I didn't even tell you about the buttons yet. Listen to this. Do you hear that? The buttons are so clicky. I don't know how they did this, but normally buttons are gooey and sticky on these clear cases, but these are like really good. This is the experience I want in a clear case. And on top of everything else, the clear case also has MagSafe, so you can charge your phone however you like. And just for you guys, special offer down below. You can get this right now for 15% off when you go to casetify.com/iupdateyt. This is a clear case that was just built different. All right, I'm gonna say it. It's built different. Check it out. Link is down below. Now, back to iPhone 15. All right, now moving on from that, I know Apple's focusing a lot on the Pro iPhone 15s this year, and they're definitely putting most of the features like the titanium, the 8 gigabytes of RAM, the periscope zoom lens, like the highest end features for the Pros. But there's actually gonna be really substantial changes to the 15 and 15 Plus as well. Not only have we heard again from Mark Gurman that the dynamic island will be expanding to the lower end models, so all iPhone 15s are getting the dynamic island. We're also hearing from Shrimp Apple Pro that the new design language is also coming to the lower end 15s too, which honestly is a bit surprising here. I'm a huge fan. I'm glad that Apple is going to be doing the new design on all models, at least in some form. Obviously, aluminum on the low end stuff, titanium now on the high end stuff, but new design on all models. That's sick. Now, that being said, still, there is a larger focus on the Pros, and apparently that means the Pros could get more expensive according to this random rumor from a guy over on Chinese social network Weibo. And I say it like that because I'm not buying this just yet. Remember all the rumors for the 14 that they were going to get more expensive and the 13 how it was going to get more expensive? Like, we hear this every year because people love to associate Apple with raising prices. But frankly, it doesn't actually happen that much. In fact, the new Mac Mini got cheaper year over year with a faster chip inside. So I don't buy it yet. I mean, it's possible because we have not seen a price increase on the Pros since 2017. Inflation's a real thing. Money has become different over time. Maybe we see it for that reason, but I don't see Apple just raising prices to be like, we raise prices. Now, next up, we've heard some rumblings for a while about Wi-Fi 6E, which is the next generation of Wi-Fi. And even though it sounds really small, because there's an E after the 6, it's actually the biggest update to Wi-Fi that we've got on these phones that could actually make a difference in like a decade. And that's because the goal of Wi-Fi 6E is actually to decongest the 2.4 and 5 gigahertz bands. This goes into 6 gigahertz, and over time could actually make your entire Wi-Fi network a little bit quicker than it is now just by having this tech. But just saying that out loud, it just sounds like a pro feature. This is only something that like someone like us, I feel like, would care about, and of course that's why Apple is apparently restricting it to the Pros only. And this one has actually been confirmed by a leaked document of the iPhone 15 Pro, shared over on Twitter initially by UnknownZ21, which we'll just add to the list of crazy leaker names. We got him, we got Shrimp Apple Pro. What are we gonna have next? Spaghetti Man 45. Spaghetti Man 45 going to be just sharing some CAD files of the iPhone 15. Listen, I'm down. I just sound like a madman doing iPhone rumors videos. Like, can we just have somewhat standard names? Like, can Mary share an iPhone leak? Where's Mary's Wi-Fi 6E confirmation? It apparently doesn't matter because this one from UnknownZ21 is actually really official looking. In fact, it's been vetted by a number of people, and it does appear to be authentic. You can see at the top, it says iPhone D8X/D3Y, which seems to suggest this will only be on the iPhone 15 Pro and iPhone 15 Pro Max models. You even have in the bottom right, I noticed this, that it is a preliminary thing subject to change and on Apple need to know confidential basis. And I don't want to say that putting that in the corner makes this real, but I also feel like that being in the corner makes this real. Like, Wi-Fi 6E on the Pros exclusively is definitely going to be a thing. I'm calling it now. This is authentic. Unfortunately, aside from confirmation of the Wi-Fi 6E feature, there's really nothing else to discern from this file. It looks like a chassis of the 15 here, but there's no detail to show us the new design or any other significant changes. So although this looks like a lot, just look at this and say Wi-Fi 6E on the Pros. Next up, we also got a recent report from Jeff Pu, who is decently accurate and has shared a lot of the same details we've heard about these models: titanium, periscope zoom lens, 48 megapixel sensor on all models. But there is an interesting detail in here about the A17 chip. It sounds like this is going to be one of Apple's first chips built on 3 nanometer technology, which is smaller size and more efficient, which should lead to some big battery life performance improvements. This is now the second time we've heard this reported, so that's a really good sign. It sounds like this could be a big battery jump year for the iPhone 15 Pros. Major performance jump as well, because it won't be based on the older 5 nano or 4 nanometer standard. The same report from Pooh also talks about the RAM in the iPhone 15 and 15 Pro models. It sounds like the iPhone 15s will be getting 6 gigabytes of RAM, but the Pro models will actually be jumping up to 8 gigabytes of RAM now, which is officially in Android territory, and it honestly makes me wonder what we would even do with this much RAM in an iPhone. Also, this report mentions that USB-C is coming to all iPhone 15 models. I feel like there's been some some recent doubt in the community that USB-C isn't happening or that Apple's going to find a way to not do it, but considering that every major source in the game says that USB-C is coming, personally, I have no doubt whatsoever that USB-C is coming on the iPhone 15, and I would expect this also to be 100% confirmed, similar to Wi-Fi 6E. And finally, let's talk about the timeline for the iPhone 15. We got a report from Economic Daily News that it is in early trial production, which basically means Apple is testing out how they're going to actually build it together so that later in the year when mass production starts, that it actually goes smoothly and it goes proper. So that's where we're starting to see some of these leaks trickle as more people start to get their hands on the devices and see things. We will only be ramping up from here. Like, I'm shocked at the quantity and confirmation of things we have this early on. It is shaping up to be really good. Things are on track. Expect this to drop in September per usual. I don't think it's going to be a situation like 2020 where it got delayed to October. So I hope you guys enjoyed this update. So much more coming, more renders in the future. Give me some feedback on them. Do you guys like them? Follow Shay, Concept Central, down below. He's doing absolutely incredible work, and I could not make this video without his help. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you learned something new, drop a like, hit subscribe so you always stay up to date. I've been Sam. Hope you cool cats are staying cool. All right? It's winter, so it shouldn't be hard. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.